दिव्या,
हाँ
मैंने ये वीडियो देखा। एक्चुअली लास्ट क्लास में भी थोड़ा डिस्टर्ब हुआ था, एक फंक्शन था ना, तो मैं ज़्यादातर नहीं देख पाया था वीडियो।
ओके, नो इश्यूज नो इश्यूज।
हाँ, तो मैंने वीडियो देखा ना, तो लास्ट वीडियो में आपने डिस्कशन किया फास्ट चेंजिंग डिमेंशन के बारे में।
हम्म।
तो आई थिंक वो तो आई थिंक आरसीडी रैपिडली चेंजिंग डिमेंशन होता है ना।
हाँ ओके, वो एक्चुअली हम आज डिस्कस करने वाले हैं।
यस, या
तो आपका एक क्वेश्चन भी था, आई थिंक यू वर द वन हु आस्क्ड राइट कि व्हाई वी डोंट यूज एससीडी टाइप 2 इन फास्ट चेंजिंग। तो वो हम कवर करेंगे। सो
ठीक।
लेट्स स्टार्ट। आई थिंक वी हैव 4, मे बी अदर्स कैन जॉइन लेटर। तो चलिए लेट्स स्टार्ट। Okay, so this was our session. So few things we are not going ahead again. Few things you can check later, but let's start with one thing. Okay. Okay. So last session we were discussing about OLAP and OLTP also, और वहाँ पे few of you had doubts regarding archival, right? So let's understand everything again from very start. Okay. So first of all, let's understand we are taking an application. Again, we are talking about e-commerce. Okay. So in e-commerce, we have both type of processing. It's called processing, OLTP and OLAP. So let's talk about the processing here. So we are talking about, this is called analytical processing, and this is called transactional processing. So here we don't say that a company completely is into OLTP or OLAP. It's actually the systems. So we are talking about e-commerce, or e-commerce may we have both the things. Let's see how. Okay. So the first thing that we know, transactional processing is about live data. Live data, or we can say real time data. Okay, so when we talk about real-time data, let's understand what is happening. So the events that happen like completely all together. For example, let's understand we placed one order. Okay, so one order is placed. Now let's see what are the operations that are happening along with this. So once an order is placed, what we do? We actually store in database, right? After then we reduce the inventory. True. After this, what we do? We process payment. After then, what we do? We send SMS or email. True. And after then, what we do? We update delivery status. Okay, so these are some of the things. There are many things. So can we say these actions are happening all together, right? And these are transactions, those are live. So everything is happening all together, one by one, back to back, and these are called live transactions. So it means that it runs on daily business, right? Okay. Yeah. So it means that we say this is runs daily business. Okay. So now let's understand what's happening here. So it means that OLTP will have the data which is very fresh, which is real time, right? Whereas here, let's understand what the events that happen, or what are the analytics that happen. Actually, we talk about monthly sales. We talk about maybe top 3 best selling products, right? We talk about category wise sales, right? So on and so forth. So can we say this is actually a historical data, right? Historical data. True. Yes. So here we learnt about what are fact tables and dimension tables, right? Last session we understood this one. So here let's understand what is actually the difference here. So in okay, so in OLTP and OLAP, let's understand what is happening. So OLTP is actually we are having again the same tables. Orders table, we have the customers table, right? We have the product table, but the data inside it is real time, right? But when the same data, or we can say, let's take an example here. So the data we have in OLTP, let's say for example, so today is June 27. So let's say for example, in my this OLTP, we have the data from June 26, that is the year, okay, till May 26. It means only 2 months data, depending on how frequently I'm getting the data here. Okay, I mean the orders. And then when this table moves to OLAP, okay, it means here we'll be having historical data. So let's first understand before that what we discussed last time. So in OLTP, we discussed that OLTP. How do we do the archival? So if you remember when we were working on SQL course, right, last month, so we understood that these some of the important data we still keep in our database, right? So here let's say we have an orders table and this is having 2 months data, very real-time data. So again June and okay, so again June and May 26. So it's the last 2 months. Whereas what we do in orders underscore archive, if you remember, we have used this table, right? Order underscore archive, we may be able to keep, let's say, 1 month data. Let's assume this is Amazon.com. We are getting orders very frequently. Hence, here we'll be having the data for April only. Okay. So can we say we are doing some kind of archival here, right? Beyond that, let's say for example, beyond that, now this data has to be moved somewhere. Where to move? Because now I need to pass this data to OLAP for analytics purpose. It means that here the data will be, let's say for example, we okay, OLAP, again remember what we are doing, we are working on ETL, right? ETL. So in the ETL we are still handling the orders table, customers table and all these, right? Now here the data will be how old? Maybe let's say for example January till let's say April. Okay, so here we can have, let's say again for 4 months. It means that my business team wants to do analysis on, let's say, past 4 months data. For now, let's assume it's not hard and fast. Okay, we are not going ahead with very strict kind of rules here. We are just taking example here. After this data will be moved for cloud archival. Okay, cloud archival means object based storage. Okay, here you need to understand what is happening. So here, let's say for example, cloud archival means that here we have many kinds of data. For example, let's understand again. So you must have heard about these things: AWS S3, right? Azure Blob and GCP. It's called cloud storage. Okay. So these are the storage that is going to help us store the data. Okay, we are still not completed with OLAP and OLTP, but I'm just explaining what is happening. So let's understand what is happening here. So here, let's say for example, we have a usage and we have access, how frequently we are accessing, and then we have a type. Okay, it means that, let's say for example, the data is 30 to 90 days old. I'm talking about the data here, right? If it is 30 to 90 days old, it means we are going to access it frequently. True. It means that I need to use what kind of type of storage here? It's hot. It's called hot tier. Okay. Now, after this, let's say for example, it's 3 to 12 months old, the data I'm saying, then it will be rarely, right? It means that it will be cold tier. Then after this, 1 year plus old data, we say very rarely, right? It's called glacier. So glacier, these options are available in all the three cloud storage that I'm telling you. Okay, and then after this, let's say for example, we have compliance data. Compliance data means any data which is very old. It can be 5 to 7 years old, let's assume. So it means almost never, right? Almost never. So it means it will go to deep archive. So now let's understand why we are trying to discuss this, is because here we need to understand this is actually a costly affair. It means that now these kind of cloud storage companies, they are going to charge us. Charge means pricing. Let's understand the pricing. So let's say if you want this kind of data very frequently, if you store here in any of the cloud based services, your price will be higher. So the price goes up like this. So more frequently you use, the more price it is. The data which is less frequently used, it will be less costlier. Okay, so the thing is, we have some options given by these cloud based storage companies, where we store this data in those options depending on how frequently we are going to use it. So now this is a costly affair. It means that if I'm going to store some data which is very frequently used, it means it will be higher. It means the next month you'll get the billing of this AWS or GCP, it will be very high, right? Whereas deep archival is cheaper, right? And the speed also matters. So the speed also is very high. So speed is the same, it goes same as this, right? So the more frequently you are accessing, and the speed of this is very high compared to this. It takes a while. It may take 30 minutes to 40 minutes depending on how much data you are actually fetching from here, right? So the reason here is we cannot eventually go and store everything in GCP or something like that. This is the last option. So the thing is, hence we need to actually handle these things somewhere in our OLTP or OLAP only, right? So now let's talk about OLTP. So OLTP, what we understood, what we do, we actually have two options. We just keep order stable, order archive stable, right? And here we understood we have 2 months data, and here we have 1 month data, and then this is the database that we are talking about. Okay, after this data has to be moved somewhere. Has to be moved somewhere means, it means if you want to do any analysis now you need to go ahead and use a OLAP processing. It means that now you use ETL, get this data, process it, and use in a OLAP processing. So inside the OLAP, what we understood last time was facts and dimensions, right? The facts and dimensions. So in the facts and dimensions, okay, yeah, and one more thing I would like to mention here, there are few technical keywords that is being used in tech industry. So when, let's say for example, when you're moving data from this orders to this here, right? So let's say you understood that now this is 2 months old, I need to move in the archive table. So this is called data purging. Okay, it means you are reducing some of the space from this table and moving the data to some other table. It's called data purging. So now let's understand what we were talking last class. So here we understood the dimensions which are slow changing. Okay, let me take a bigger space. Yeah, OLAP. So here we have facts and dimensions. So you can understand the same table now goes to OLAP. It means OLTP and OLAP are inside the same e-commerce company, right? So here this is called slow changing. We understood why it's called slow changing, right? So slow changing, now it means this is slow changing. It means I need to have some way to have a history of it. History of it means I need to use a strategy. The strategy that we use here is SCD. And what are the types of it? 0 to we have 6. This is what we understood. And the one that we are going to talk today is type 2. Okay. Similarly, in the fact table, last class somebody asked why we cannot use type 2 here. So it's not like we cannot use, we can still use, but there are better options available. Type 1 also we use. Okay. Then we have we have mini dimension. This I'll explain. Okay. Apart from this, we have audit. Okay, and we have event based history tables. Okay, so these are the options that we can do. So now let's understand what is the best way to handle the facts table. So the best way to handle the facts table is this one. So this is used mostly. However, we cannot say that these are not being used. Depending on the organization and the type of the data, we have other options as well, right? So these are the two things that we need to know. Now let's understand quickly what is mini dimension. So mini dimension is something, let's take an example here. We have a customers table. Okay, inside this we have name, we have date of birth, we have a gender, and we have customer ID. True. And here we have, let's say, city, we have let's say income, maybe we may keep, we not keep, and then we have maybe membership type, right? So can we say these details are fixed and never, it will never change, right? Can we say like this? Whereas these things are changing. True. So if we know these are changing and these are never going to change, right? Date of birth is never going to change. It means that now I can divide this table into, we call it main dimension, and we call it mini dimension. So it means that now I can give the naming to this table such that it's dim underscore customers, and here dim underscore customer underscore profile. So it can be fact also, it can be anything. So I'm just giving you an example because I took a customer here, the example of customers table. So far it's okay, right? No doubt. So this is the thing that we call mini dimensions and yeah, type 2. So these are the major things that we usually use. Okay, so now let's understand our flow first of all. So flow is always, we have customer activity. So we are again talking about e-commerce here. So we have customer activity, then the information goes to OLTP, right? So OLTP means what? Website or app. True. And from there it goes to operational databases, right? What we used, SQL server, right? And from there it goes to ETL. So ETL pipeline, right? So ETL pipeline can be, again, let's talk about this. So we have three types here. We have SQL database, what we have used in our SQL course, right? Apart from that, we have cloud storage. So we can have this ETL in cloud storage as well. Apart from that, we can have cloud-based data warehouses. Okay, so the storage means, so again the same thing, AWS, Azure, and GCP. But here, one thing to note, because we are data engineers here, we need to ensure that the data that is kept here, okay, so data engineers has to ensure that the data that is kept in the storage has to be in that proper data format. Okay, so we have some very commonly used Avro and Delta, I remember. Yeah, Delta. So these are major data types which we use, in which we store this data actually in the cloud storage. And because the reason we keep it, because we can use analytics here very quickly in these kind of data. And then data warehouses, we know that already, what we know, the cloud-based data warehouses. And then it goes to OLAP system. So OLAP system is the again same thing. And then we have the BI tools, right? The BI tools are Power BI, Locker, and we have Tableau, right? And after this, it goes again to cloud archival. So cloud archival can be at any stage. So depending on how frequently we want to access. So after this, let's say for example, the data is already 1 year old. So preferably we go to archival. Okay. So it means all the analysis has been done already. And even in the tools also, we don't show very old data until unless we have that particular use case like that, right? So now here, let's understand where our today's topic comes under. So ETL, right? So ETL, what was the flow chart here? So the flow chart that we used last time was, we have a source here, right? From there we are getting raw data. True. So the raw data we called as which layer? Bronze layer. So few of the topics I'm repeating because there are new some of you are new here. So raw data, after this, we come to staging, right? So staging is called silver layer, right? So this is Italian naming actually. Okay. And then here we have, after staging, we have the final stage, right? So in the final stage, we call it gold layer. Right? So now our SCD comes here. SCD type 2. Okay. So the SCD type 2 is being used here. It means my input to this SCD type is the tables from the staging table. So here, so the tables that we are going to use is SRC customers. And here we are going to use the tables is Tim underscore customer. Okay, we'll be having fact tables as well, but we are not using today anything like that. So fact and dimension tables comes under final stage or the gold layer. Okay, so far you understood, right? So whatever input we are getting, we'll be getting from the staging table, staging layer, and then we are fetching those data and inserting here. So this is our flow for today. So let's understand. Okay, and one more thing. These actually, the SCD topic comes under data modeling and warehousing. So these are actually good for data engineers and analytics. And inside this also, we have multiple topics. But let's go specifically here. So we have covered a schema design and normalization, few of the topics here. And this here we have fact table and dimension table. Here is the slow changing dimensions. So the topic that we are discussing today comes under slow changing dimension of data warehousing, out of which we are today learning SCD type 2 specifically. So yeah, so you can see here in the slides I have already shared. So what is fact and dimension table we have discussed last session. What is SCD type 0 is also being discussed already. Type 1 is done. Type 2. In the type 2, I'll tell you very quickly what we are going to do here. So here what we are going to do whenever there is a change in any of the table. So if you know what we just discussed, that we are going to have source table, customers table, source customer table. From this we are going to move the data to dim underscore customers, right? So this is staging, and then we are having final layer. Okay, so it means from here the data will be moving to the final stage. However, first time we'll be moving everything. Let's say here 3 records. So all 3 records will go here. Okay, but then we are talking about incremental. Incremental, if you remember, we talked about merge, right? And upsert. So it means, let's say after moving these 3 records, we still get some update or insert in the same table. So in the staging, let's say there is some update or insert. Okay, it means that now I need to move these changes also here. So let's say, for example, now here we have 3 records. So out of which we have 3 records there already. Out of these, there are 2 updates. Okay, so 2 updates which I need to handle as well, and there's 1 insert. So it means together it will go as 4 records, out of which 2 are updated and 1 is a new insert. Okay, new record. So yeah, so this also we need to handle today. So let's first understand what is SCD Type 2, and then we'll go back to our SQL server. So here what we are doing, we have a customer. For example, this is the customer. Initially this person John was in Mumbai. Okay, and now this person John moves to Bangalore. So now it means I need to handle the history as well. So the history, it means I need to, if we are using SCD type 2, we actually insert a new record and we preserve everything. It means the previous record will also be there and new record will be inserted. Can you see this? Right? But now how to identify which record is the recent or the current record? So for that we have added a column. This column tells me that this is true. It means this is the latest record. And if we are keeping multiple records in the same table, it means that this is not unique anymore. So I need to have something which is unique. So for that, I am keeping a surrogate key. This is the surrogate key. So this key is actually created extra, which is a surrogate key. We call it surrogate key. And apart from this, we need to handle the validity as well. So from when to when John was in Mumbai and when did he move to Bangalore? So this validity, this dates actually tells me that, okay, John was in Mumbai from 2022 to 23 May, and then he moved to Bangalore in 23 June. Okay, so it means that to handle SCD type 2, I need to have few important things. First is surrogate key, then we have to handle dates. Dates, if you remember, we talked there are 8 ways by which we can handle the dates, and here we need to also tell that which is the current flag, which is the current row. Okay, so now this way we are going to handle our SCD type 2. So let's come back to our database. Okay, so here I'm pointing to order DB. So this script I've already shared, but I have done some changes. So please get the updated again. So here let's check what we have. We have in the order DB, I created the tables already. Okay, can you see this one? Dim customer and source customers. Okay. So now I have already those 2 tables created. Let's see what is the data inside. Okay. Okay, so I do not have any data here. So let's first insert the data in the source table. So I have that query already. Let me just quickly run that query. So here, this is the insert in the source customer table. I have two records right now. Let's execute. Okay, let's go back and run those queries again. Okay, so now here you can see I have two records in my source customers table and I do not have any record in the dim customer table. Now let's compare what is the difference between these two tables. So if you note here clearly, you can see the customer name, email, and all these one, two, three, six columns are already in the dim customer table. Apart from that, we have a surrogate key, that is this one, right? Which is auto generated. I do not have to insert any data to it. It will be auto created. Apart from that, can you see this row hash? Okay, row hash is one thing that we are going to use today. We have valid from and to, and we have is current. So we understood for SCD type 2, I need to have a surrogate key, I need to have the date columns, and I need to have a is current column as well, right? So what is this row hash? So row hash is actually what we are going to do. We need to, okay, so to understand what are the changes that has happened, so how do I compare? Now let's understand how do I compare. Okay, just a minute. If you remember, when we were talking about merge and upsert, right? How did we compare the columns? So the columns we compared using these things, right? We had to compare each and every column with the source key, I mean staging and the target, right? So the staging and the target tables I compared one by one. So this is practically not possible, right? If you have multiple columns, it's not possible to write like this. So now I need to find a way so that I can find out that there is a difference between the same record. So let's understand. Mm, okay. So let's understand first. So here, let's see. Mm, okay. So first, let's see what is the changes here. For example, you can see the top one, right? So this is my initial load. Okay. So initially, you can say that I have three records in the table. So source table have three records. Now, after moving these three records to my dim table. So let's say these are the three records. These are three records initially in my source table. I move this data into my dim table, right? After this, what happens is I can see that there are some changes in my existing record. So can you see this first record, Amit Sharma? The city has changed, right? The segment has changed. And then you can see for the second record, Priya Nair, you can see the email ID has changed. And apart from this, you can see there is one more record. It means that I need to move these changes now to my dim table. So how I'm going to compare the data, what column data has been changed. So for that, what we are going to use is hashing. Hashing means what? Let's see what is hashing. So hashing is actually a way by which I can actually compare my data. Okay. So let's understand. I have around just a minute. Okay, so I have around, let's say 10, okay, leave it. So I have around 10 columns, okay, in my table. And now I cannot go and compare all 10 columns, right? From the source, compare it with dim is not possible. So now what I need to do, I need to ensure that I have a way by which I can compare. So let's say, for example, this is Amit's email. Okay, Amit's city, Mumbai, and maybe his segment. Let's say he's a premium member. Okay, now I'll do one thing. I'll just create a hash of this. So hashing means you have to use a hash function here. So the hash functions are many. We have MD5, we have SHA-256. So here we are using this one. So I'll be using this one, and this will give me a hash value. So hash value is 64 alphanumeric characters. Okay, alphanumeric characters which are unique. Okay, so this is going to create an alphanumeric 64 alphanumeric characters which are unique. Okay, so now here let's understand if there is any change here. Let's say Amit, the name doesn't change. Let's say his email ID is still same. Okay, then he moves to Pune and then he still is a premium member. Okay, now for this, the hash function will use the same, but now the hash value is different. Because there is some change that has happened. Okay, so the hash value will be different. So how we are going to compare? We are going to compare the source tables. It means the best way what we can do is hash value will be compared to hash value of, this is a dim table and this is a source table. Okay, so this is the best way we can do. Hence what we are doing, we are keeping this hash value in a row. Row underscore hash is the column that we have created in this table. Okay, so this way we can compare. If there's any change, what I'll do, I'll just simply copy that record to the dim table. Okay, so now let's understand what happens, why we are using pipe here. So the reason we are using pipe here is means that, let's say B, C, D, E, F is going to create H1, A, B, C, D, E, F is going to create H2. Now these two are not same because this two is not same. However, if we don't use a pipe, that time it's going to give me the same hash value. Okay, so this is going to give same H1 value. Okay, this is the reason we are using pipe here. Now let's go back quickly to our SQL server. So what we have done, okay, so we can see here that we already have this source table populated. Now I need to populate my dim table. It means that I need to create a hash. Okay, so the hash I need to create, let's understand what is the insert query here. So yeah, so here we have the insert query. So the insert query here, you can see what we are doing. We have the same 6 columns from the source table. We have an extra row hash column. Here, what I'm doing, I'm creating a hash value. Can you see this? We are using pipes again. We are checking if there is any null. We are just trimming for any spaces. And then we are using pipes, we are concatenating, and we are using a hash function. We have many options to use any of the hash function. So for now, we are using SHA-256, and apart from that, we have valid from and to. Valid from and to is actually, okay, so let's understand what is valid from. So valid from is something what the updated date as. Okay, when was this updated? Okay, this I am using as the valid from, means from this date it will be valid. And valid to is something which we are using a very big date, which, let's say for example, we do not have any, then we'll use a very big date. and is current I'm setting it to true. It means that this record is going to be the latest record for now. Let's insert. Okay, let's quickly run the select queries. Yeah. So here you can see the customer key is auto generated. I didn't insert anything. Other things remains exactly the same. We have a row hash. It means it's saying that this is the row hash values of the information stored here, which we'll be comparing later. And then valid from. So valid from, if you note here, is exactly the updated date, right? Valid to, we have used a very big dates, but if we have some other logic, we can use that as well. Is current tells us that this is the latest current value, a record, which you can use for your any processing. Okay, so this is now. So now so far what we have done, we have actually uploaded our data in the dim table. But now let's understand what's happening. So we have a source table here. Now there is an update here. So far we can see that source and dim table are in sync. There is no change here, no change, right? Now let's say there is a change here. So we have an update, okay, and we have an insert of a new record. In that situation, what we need to do, let's understand. Okay, so it means that what we are going to do, we are going to actually add one more record for that. So let's see, where is that? Okay, let's first understand what update we are doing. Okay, so here you can see the update. So let's say, for example, I do not have the customer ID 004. So let's update for customer ID 002, that is Priya Rao. For her, let's change the city to Jaipur and let's change the segment to premium. No, premium is already there. We'll do it elite. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll just update one record in the source table. So you can see I'm updating the source table. It means the staging table. Okay. Let's update. Done. Now I'll add one more record. Let's mention it customer 3, Pooja Nayak, and I have done some new record here. Let's insert that as well. Let's check the data. So now ideally the source table should have some changes. Yes. So here you can see, let's compare Priya Rao's record. So Priya Rao here in the dim table is Mumbai, whereas now she has moved to Jaipur. Okay, and we have one more customer, that is Pooja Nayak, and she is in source table, but we cannot see any record in the dim table. So now I need to handle these two things, these two scenarios. So now what I need to do, first let's understand. So let's focus on this is current. So it means that if I want to use SCD type 2, I need to move Priya Rao's information in the dim table. But I am only comparing the hash, hence I do not know which field is changed, right? Because, can you see here, I have used hashing for these 4 columns. So any data change in any of the thing, I do not know. I just know that there is some change, true? So in that scenario, what we do, we just copy that record from source to the dim table and we keep the previous record as well. How do we keep the previous record? We just set it to 0. Right? So the previous record, which is currently in the dim table, will set it to 0. And once we move this Jaipur wala record, we'll put it to 1. Okay, let's understand this one. So now, again, let's talk about Priya Rao. So Priya Rao. Initially, the current record that we have in the dim table will set is current to 0. And the new record that we are getting, that is the, what was that? Which city? Jaipur. Jaipur 1 will move here. So again, it will be one more record in the dim table. And now it will be is current to 1. Okay. So it means that we are going to see 2 records for Priya. And the new record, which is for Pooja, will be adding that as well. Okay. So now let's do that one. So before that, we need to do something. What we need to do? We need to actually compare the row hash. True. It means I need to first detect the changes. So the first thing that happens is detect the changes. So let's understand this query. Detecting the changes. So we need to detect the changes between both the tables. How do we detect? We are going to compare the hashes. Now let's note here, we are not storing the hash value of the source anywhere. We do not have any column to tell us what is the new hash value for the source. So because the data has changed, we can say that there is a new hash we'll be getting. True. So it means I need to get the new hash for this new record for Priya Rao and compare it with the existing record of dim table. Right? It means that I need to do it on the fly. That is this one. I need to use cross apply. So cross apply is a keyword that we use when we have to do something repeatedly for a table. It means that let's simply understand with a simple example. This is a simple example. So we have employee here, employee salary, bonus and everything. Cross apply is used to calculate total salary. So can we see there is no total salary column in the employee table, but I need to use that. How do I get that? I need to do some calculation on the fly, right? So previously what we understood, we used to do average, right? Average, minimum, maximum. These calculations we used to do during the select execution, right? We know the execution sequence already, right? So we used to do these calculations. Apart from that, let's say I want to do some extra calculation. In that scenario, I use cross apply. Cross apply means for each and every row, it will get executed. Okay, it means that it's a temporary calculated column for each row. So it's a temporary column just for the select query purpose. Okay, it's not stored anywhere, right? So it means I can use some logic here using cross apply to find my row hash for the updated source table. True. I have done the same thing. So don't get confused. It's not that difficult here. What I have done, this is a simple case. Okay. So what I have done, I have just used a case here where I'm just comparing if there is no record in my target table, which is the dim table. So if there is no record for the customers, can we say it's a new record, right? If there is no matching hash is not matching. So it means we have found the customer, but the hash is not matching. It means the row has been changed. True. Apart from that, if nothing happens, then we say it's unchanged, right? So this is the change type column that I've added using the case. And what I'm doing in the cross apply, I'm just calculating new hash of the source table. True. And just using a left join. It's a very simple query we have done many times, but this cross apply is something which is new. Let's run this and see the output. Okay. So now here, let's see. So we have Priya Rao here. Okay. So we have say that it is changed. The first record is not changed. So Amit Sharma's record not changed. Priya Rao's record has been changed. Right? Why? Because the row hash which was in dim is not matching the row hash which is the latest from the source table. True. And then we can see one more thing. Pooja Nayak is a new record because we do not have a source hash here. Okay. It is new. Okay. So now we can say that we have got one changed record and one new record. I hope it's clear so far, right? So based on these things, what we detected that there is unchanged record, changed record and the new record, we need to handle these insertion and updation. So if you remember, we used upsert for this, right? Upsert means updation and insertion simultaneously, right? But now let's first, we can use upsert also. We have that query as well. which is here. But before that, let's understand each and every query quickly. Then we'll be able to handle this properly. So first of all, what I need to do, what I discussed, we need to first set the previous record to 0, right? Why? Because why the sequence is important? First, I need to expire the existing record and then insert a new record. So first has to be this, then has to be this. It's not the reverse way, because if I do the insertion first, I won't be able to distinguish which I need to set it to 0, right? Which one I need to set it to 0, I do not know. Hence, before insertion only, I need to ensure that this record has been expired. I need to set that to expire. It means that now the initial Priya Rao's record has to be set to expire. So how do I do that? I need to use an update query. Update query, again the inner join. Because we do not have anywhere the source hash here, I am calculating this again on the fly and comparing with the target, right? Target is my dim table, source is my staging table. And what I am doing, kindly note, we are doing two things here. First, I am setting the is current to 0. So now, Priya Rao's Rao record in dim table will get expired. We are not deleting it, we are just putting it to setting it to 0, right? We are setting it to 0. It means now it will be expired. It means that I'm setting it to 0 and valid 2 will be what? So today is 27th. It means what I'm doing, it will be a day previous, that is 26th of June. So let's see what is the record that we have. Then we quickly run that query. So again, the dim table, first table is the dim table. Okay, so here we have validity as a very big number and current is also set to 1 for Priya Rao. Now let's quickly set it to expire. Okay, this is this one. Let's quickly run. Okay, let's go back and run this statement again. Okay, again, let's check the Priya Rao's record. Yes, can you see it's 26th of June? So this validity is set to previous date and now it is expired. So now it's safe to now insert the new record which we found for Priya Rao. True. So now I need to handle this insertion. So I have done already expiry. This is done already. Now I'll be doing insertion. Insertion of what? Changed and the new. It means Pooja Nayak and Priya Rao. So again, I'm doing the left join here. It's very simple. It's not that a difficult query here. We are just using source and the dim table, source as target. And then what I'm doing, I am doing two conditions here, using two conditions here. I'm checking whether the target table has customer ID null. It means it doesn't have any records. Then those are new records. So let's insert. Apart from that, if the hashing is not matching, hash is not matching with the target, it means it's a changed record, right? So both the things I'm handling. So it's safe to handle now. Let's do an insert. So quickly we have done an insert here. Let's understand. So 2 rows affected. Let's only run the, let's run both. Okay. So now you can see here in the dim table, we have 2 records for Priya. Okay. First says Mumbai, second says Jaipur. It's premium and elite. And you can see one is current as 0 and one is this one current. So can we find that which is the latest record that I need to use? Because the validity also you can see it's a very big date. It means this is the latest record. Yeah, the customer key can be in any sequence. It will not be in this sequence. So Priya Rao can be a last record also, first record also. The sequence doesn't matter here. So now here we can say that the customer ID is repeating in this table. Hence, we cannot use customer ID as a foreign key or primary key in this table. So that is the reason what we have done. We have used a surrogate key. Yeah. So far it's clear, right? So what we have done, we have used hashing to actually compare and insert or update, right? So far it's clear. Any doubts? Any doubts from anyone? Yeah, hi. Hi. Someone was saying something, right? Okay. Yeah, Pankaj, you were saying something?
No, Divya, it's good.
Okay. So now we understood what we have done. So in the slides also we have the same thing. Okay, just one thing. Please do not check the queries here because I do not have much space. So I just shrinked it. So the queries you'll get from the SQL file only. So this actually is how we are going to implement SCD type 2. However, there's one thing still important, that we cannot use 3 separate queries to actually do this work, right? So it's an overhead if I have to go and every time run 3 separate queries. True? So now we are going to handle this using merge. Okay, so merge is what, if you remember what we studied last time. Okay, let's check. Okay, yeah. So merge is what we studied last time. So it means merge, what it does, it actually help you to, we call it merge query, will help us to update or insert, right? It means that we can update also whenever needed, wherever needed, and insert also. So here, that is the reason it's called upsert. Upsert is not a keyword. Together we say that it is upsert. So what is the syntax that we use? Merge, then the target table, whatever it is. Let's say here we have dim table, right? Dim customers as target, right? And then we use using. Then we have the source table as src. And then what we have, the conditions here, we use when matched. Okay, so here we have an on keyword also. On means what you're comparing. Okay, what is the common here? So we have the customer ID common for both the tables, right? So this is target and this is source. So when matched, what we need to do? We have to use one only DML command, which can be update or insert, or we can use delete also, right? We can add more conditions here also. We can use and we can add more conditions. Similarly, when not matched, what I need to do? Okay, so when not matched, again one DML command. Okay, so here again update, insert, or whatever it is. So however, there is one thing. We have to note that we can only use one DML command, whereas what we did so far is 3 statements, right? What we did, 3 statements. 3 statements. One was update and 2 insert. 2 insert because we have to insert based on different condition. Condition was different, right? What was the condition? Let's check what was the condition that we use. So condition was, here we were checking whether the customer ID is null. So it was for new customer. Whereas here what we were doing, we were checking the hash. So we say it's a 3 statements. Okay, because conditions are different. Now that is the reason we cannot simply use a merge statement with 3 statements here, right? Because either I can do one operation here, one operation here. True? So now let's understand what is happening. So this was the flowchart that we used here. So we understood which were the changed customers. So the hash were different. New customers not matched in the target. It means the customer ID is null, right? And unchanged means the hash remains the same. True. We need to first expire those old record, right? How we did? We changed this one to 0, and valid from also we changed. No, valid 2. I think valid 2, right? This we changed, and then here we simply inserted. Here we don't have to do anything. Okay. So after merge, this is the next step. So let's understand. We still have a query which we can see. So what we have done here, this is together a same thing, but we have used a merge query here. Merge. Okay. So before that, before I show you, let me just quickly truncate the dim table. Okay, because I'll show you the difference here. So let's check what we have. So we have source data already. Okay, but we do not have a dim. And now, because we need to have the same data in both the tables, let's quickly run the insert again. So now what I need to do, I need to actually have the same data in both the tables. So let me do the insert again. Okay, I have done the insert again. So now I can say that both the tables have the same data. Let's see quickly. So yes, we have both the table have the same data, Jaipur and Jaipur. Because I just deleted, so I just have one record for Priya. So now let's quickly do an updation, and then we'll go ahead and run the merge query. So what updation we can use here is let's do for Amit Sharma, that is customer ID 1. I'll change the place to Chennai, right? I just change the place for Amit to Chennai. Okay, let's do this one, and I'll add one more customer. Let's Meera Nair, and let's add Meera, and other thing remains the same. So what I have done, I am changing Amit Sharma's record. City I'm changing to Chennai, and I'm adding one more record. Let's run these queries. Okay, so I have done those changes. Let's quickly check this. Okay, so you can see here that we have a new record, Meera Nair's record, and Amit's city has changed to Chennai. Now we'll use the same thing. We're using a merge here. So now, as we know, we have one thing that we do not have the hash anywhere in the source table. Hence, we have to calculate on the fly. It means that I have to write a query here. Instead of a table, I am writing a query here, right? So this query I'm giving an alias as source. So this is the source and this is the target. Target means which table has to be modified. Source means from where I need to get the information and do the changes in the target table. And what is the condition that is matching here? Again, we have to do the customer ID and the current, this one. Okay. Yeah. So now, first what I need to do, if I find the matched record and the source is, the hash is not matching, I need to update it to 0. It means I need to expire first. So I got the same record, which is Amit Sharma's record. I see that, yes, there's no matching hash here. It means the data has changed in source table. Let me expire that record. Yeah. So I'll be doing that in the match condition. So with the matched, I have added one more condition. Yeah. So now I have a limitation. I can only use one DML command. It means I can only do update here. Right. Second thing, when not matched. Not matched means what is not matching? It means we are not getting this one. Okay. So it means that what I need to do, I need to simply insert. It's a fresh record. right? So simply insert. I just already calculated the source hash here, which was this one. This is the column name. So I just simply copy this column name and insert here. So this is a fresh insert. This is the insert for Meera, and this is the updation for Amit Sharma. Okay, two things I can handle so far in the merge. Let me run this. Okay, let's quickly see what is the changes here. Okay, so I can see Meera Nair's record is updated here, sorry, added here, and Amit Sharma's city. Okay, no, sorry. It is now changed to is current is 0 and valid to is changed, right? These two changes, what we did, we'd have to expire the record and we inserted a new record. Now one thing is already pending, still pending. It means I need to add a new record for Amit Sharma. It means let me insert this one. So this is the extra insert that we need to use. Same thing, exactly same thing. I'm using an inner query, inner join here. And what I'm doing, I'm again creating the hash on the fly and I'm just, okay, so this is the inner query. This I'm doing here. And what I'm doing, I'm just inserting a record. Let's quickly insert. So the queries are very simple. It may look a bit big, but it's not the case. So let's quickly run. So now you can see we have one more record for Amit Sharma. Can you see we do not have any sequence followed here. So customer ID 1 is here and then we have here. So it can be in any sequence, but you will see that the data is here, right? So this way you can see that validity and everything has been updated. So this way you can use merge also for hash based change detection, right? So late arriving is already handled. It means that if we are getting any record which are older than yesterday, then what we are doing, we are actually handling already. How we handled using the updated date. If you remember what we are doing here, this one. So valid from, we are not setting from current date. It is depending on when was it updated. So you may come across an interview question where you may be asked, how do you handle the late arriving data? Late arriving data means, let's say today is 27th and you are getting some data from 24th. Let's say, for example, 24th of June. So how are you going to handle that data? So you are handling like this. So validity actually now will be from the updated date. It will not be from 26th. So we have handled that from the very starting, right? So this way you can handle late arriving. Yeah, and these things are very simple. How do we do this? So any question from anyone? Any question? So majorly we have covered everything what we thought we'll do. So we have handled both ways. We have used a merge query also, and we have used a separate queries also, right? Merge is already done. So we just used upsert. Okay. Any doubt from anyone? Okay. So I think that's it for today. We have covered a good topic which we thought we'll cover. So this is very important topic, and in this slide you will see some interview questions as well. So you can go through these questions. The answer remains the same. The answer is the same what we have discussed, but the questions will be different depending on who is the interviewer. Okay. Similarly, these are the questions which will be asked. You will get the same answer. You have to answer the same thing, right? And soft delete also, we can have soft delete. We can add a column for that as well. So for soft delete, we can use a column is deleted. That is possible. Okay. So this way, we can handle anything from anyone. So I think we are done for today. I'll share the slides again because I have updated a few things. And I'll be sharing the new SQL file as well, this one for the merge. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, that's it for today. Thank you very much for joining. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
Thank you, Divya. Bye.
Bye.